Good morning. It's Tuesday.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 21. And here we are, 27 days. And it's just 27 days that we've been on. And it's just, we're doing good stuff. It's a good thing. And this is not a complaint.
Yeah.
So here we are. A lot of things are happening. And then things are remaining the same. It's like we're getting into that new normal of normalcy. And let me use that word a couple of times.
Yeah, this is definitely a new normal. But yesterday was after spring break for my kids, so I was back to school for them. I got back to a normal schedule in terms of working, and truly very, very successful day, getting things done yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I actually accomplished something I've been working on for over a week. And a lot of times, it's like you work on something, you think about it, you keep researching, and you just got to just do it.
Right.
That's what I did yesterday. So instead of taking all day to do something, it took me 45 minutes to complete a task, which I thought was going to take me 4 hours.
Right.
That's typical.
Typical work. But as you said, we're getting back to the new normal. We have a special guest today. You want to introduce him?
Yeah, we're bringing on the broker owner of Century 21 Connect. I have a lot of Century 21 friends out from the day, and Mike is from Georgia. Mike's a friend of mine, Mike Pruitt. Mike, welcome to Level Up Today, April 21. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. Our pleasure. Listen, we know that Georgia's got some changes going on, and things are changing. And we know Tennessee announced some changes, and Mississippi announced some changes. Tennessee's going to open up after April 30th a little bit. What's going on in Georgia, Mike? Talk to us about the economy of Georgia first.
Okay. Well, first, I think it's important to put the context of this kind of in place. In Georgia, every part of the country, every region of the country has been impacted a little differently, some much more severe than others. And we've been impacted here in the Atlanta area. The other parts of the states, the more rural part of the state, less so. Right now, I think we rank 45th in the country for impact as a percentage of the population. So that is not to discount the people that have been sick or the people that unfortunately have died from this, but relatively speaking, we're in the bottom percentile in the country for the infectious rate. So the impact down here is just so much different than it is, say, in New York and New Jersey, right?
Right.
So we were the last to put a stay-in-place order in place, and we're apparently going to be the first to start the process of releasing it a little bit. And it's Georgia, so we're going to open up our bowling alleys this Friday. And yeah, I don't know. Impact on the economy, still hard to measure. From a real estate perspective, we're looking at sales being off almost 30% for the month of April. So it's been impactful, but it hasn't completely shut us down. So I'm a little bit more worried about May and June. I think that the business that we have done in March and April was part of our pipeline business. We had already had it in the works. And it's just, we're losing a very small number of transactions, but it's the new listings and the new sales, which we're really starting to see slow down. But our bowling alleys will be open this Friday, okay? So
I think I may have to drive down there just for that. But, the question I have really is up in New Jersey, we've had some difficulties with e-signing and all that stuff. How have you guys been doing closings in Georgia, and how has that worked for the real estate business, and what's changed for you over the past 6 weeks?
Okay, well, obviously a lot in how we as agents do business and how we close our transactions. So to answer that question, Georgia's an attorney state when it comes to closing. So we don't use escrow companies, we use attorneys to close the transaction. The agents write the contracts, the attorneys close them. So the attorneys watching businesses adjust and adapt to this quickly has been fascinating. And to the attorney population in our area, they have adjusted very quickly. It's not really drive-through closings, but it's about as virtual as you can get. in a climate where there was no virtuality to the closing process at all. You had to go into an attorney's office and sign your documents in their presence.
Right.
And now they're doing this via e-sign through witness closings. They will sit out in the parking lot and they will bring the paperwork out to you and sign.
Right.
So they have adapted quickly to the environment. I watch most people in our industry. It's been fascinating and encouraging to watch how quickly people have pivoted and adjusted to the new climate.
Mike, has everyone pivoted, or is it just the agents that either see opportunity or are just business people? Is there a difference?
You know, Dave, you and I have been in the business a long time, and I've always been told that great agents thrive in all markets. And they thrive. They didn't say all agents thrive in all office. They said environment. Great agents thrive. And I believe that great agents thrive because they assess the situation, they pivot, and they take action.
Right.
So those agents that are doing that right now, that are pivoting and taking the right kind of actions, they're going to do fine. I actually believe that per agent productivity is going to go up in our area. But that's good news for the great agents, and it's really bad news for the others, because I think the reason per agent productivity is going to soar is because so many agents are going to be put out of the business.
Right.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't taking action right now, that are using this as an extended vacation, or can't adjust their message appropriately for the new environment,
Right.
They're going to have a really hard time competing.
Right. That's exactly what we see. I mean, there's three types of agents, really: the ones with their head in the sand, and ones that think they can pick up and do it, when things are over, like you said. And there are some that can do that because of their referral business, and the ones that already have shifted, and the ones that are shifting and doing that. While it has not been business as usual, there's a new usual, right?
Right.
How do you think the opening up of things this week and next week in Georgia is going to change how you do real estate from the past 6 weeks? Is it going to change, or is there still going to be the parking lot closings that we're talking about?
We just had this conversation with one of our attorney partners on the closing, and that was my question to him. Is this going to be a new normal for us, or are we going to revert right back to the way we've done business in the past? And their very strong defined opinion was, in the area of real estate closings, we will absolutely go back to the way we've done it in the past. Nobody likes the lenders, the attorneys, the title insurance companies. Nobody likes closing real estate transactions this way. They feel like there's an increased level of risk to them. But they will tolerate it now as a way to keep business floating, moving through, but they're not going to go along with it. I think this might be, agents are being forced, and what's the old cliche, right? Necessity's the mother of invention.
Right.
I think we're being forced to learn new skills. And sometimes, maybe I'm guilty of this too, I don't learn new things until I have to learn new things. And then when I do, I go, oh, well, gosh, I'll just do this all the time.
Right.
Like these type of events where we can meet virtually like this. I don't know, 6 months ago, this was pretty edgy. And now I'm on like 10 of these a day, right?
Right.
So, maybe that's bad news for the airlines and the hotel business, because I don't know that I feel like I need to travel as much for business conferences as maybe I did last year.
Right.
So maybe that's the change. But to answer your question, for closing, we're not anticipating that being a permanent change.
Right. Mike, is there a segment in your market that's not doing well versus another segment that is, versus luxury versus middle of the road?
So luxury for us is hurt especially hard right now because the mortgage financing has been restricted. There's a tightening of credit in the marketplace right now. Right. And that's impacting the higher price levels, which were already not doing as robustly as the rest of the market. It's been, credit in that area has been restricted. The investor part of our market's been hit because their investor types of financing programs have been curtailed, if not completely eliminated right now.
Right.
And the bottom part of the market, the credit criteria on like FHA loans, there's been a bump up in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that 620 stuff, you're not finding very many people willing to do that right now. They're really trending more towards 660 level FICO scores.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So you've got that, but one of the things we're seeing, across the country is that business is still being done, right?
Yep.
The hot stuff that was going on, I don't know how much California can compare to a lot of places, but I actually have a friend of mine looking to buy or rent a place in Southern California, and he just can't find it.
Right.
He just can't find it. And around here, I guess it's inventory. Mark, would you agree the same thing with inventories going on around here? We're about 30% lower than normal?
Yeah, we're probably a little more than 30% lower right now. April is a time where people start putting their houses on the market more because by us, the weather changes like mid-March. So people wait for that, little bit warmth to start putting their houses on the market. And I see that there's a delay in all price points of people putting their house on the market. I think a lot of people just are questioning whether or not they are going to move this year or not in the end. And if they can find a place to go, whether they're downsizing or upgrading or, relocating, I think people are putting a little pause on it for a little while and then deciding what to do. But demand is strong by us. I'm not sure, Mike, by you, but demand by us is strong. We got buyers calling us every day. Our viewership on our listings are up, 300-400%, on some of our ads that we put out there. So, we're trying to, balance that demand and figure out who the real buyers are who are going to buy now based on what's on the market.
Absolutely. I echo that. This has exacerbated an ongoing issue already. In the Atlanta market, we were already suffering for a huge shortage of available inventory. So for us, what we would classify as a healthy imbalance market would be like a 5 to 6 month supply of homes for sale.
Right.
And we were already coming into this crisis at a 1.9 month supply. So we had basically a third the number of homes for sale that we needed to meet demand.
Right.
And now that's been restricted. I agree with you. It looks like, hard to tell, but looks like about 30% of the inventory that would be coming up for sale. I think the word is pause. I think what we're hearing from our customers is some need to move forward. They need to get their home up for sale, or they're just more risk tolerant. The virus thing doesn't bother them as much. They're not as concerned personally as other people are, so they're more risk tolerant. But we're hearing a lot of homeowners say, yeah, I do want to sell and we're going to do that, but let's just, maybe I'm not as confident in my job situation as I was 60 days ago, or this is just causing a lot of uncertainty in our household, or I just don't want people coming through my house right now.
Right.
And so the inventory, which we so desperately need because people are still buying homes, and the incredibly low interest rates, like the lender that we work with here yesterday told me that over the weekend, he just locked somebody in at a 2.87% interest rate. When it starts with a 2, we're in completely uncharted territories, and that's driving a lot of demand. We just don't have the inventory to meet it.
Right.
So I don't know, Dave, you're smarter than I am. So what the other side of this looks like, I've heard people talk about a 10-month economy in the final 6 months, and we better get some sleep right now if that's going to be the case, because we're going to need it. I don't know. I'm still feeling in the marketplace a lot of pent-up demand and a lot of frustration that there aren't enough homes out there to choose from.
Right.
Mike, thank you for those kind words. I will take them and just say thank you and move forward with my thoughts and opinions on what we're talking about. I think what we're going to have is a little bit of a stutter, and then we're going to take off. And after 6 months of picking up where everything was, I believe what's going to happen, and there's nobody else with this opinion. So you know what? Opinions are like noses. Mostly everybody has one. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to stumble into what we haven't had in 20 years, and that's that word, the real normal, which is 4 to 6 months of inventory, 3% of appreciation, 90 to 120 days to sell a home. I think that's where we're going to be by the beginning of 2021, where normalcy is going to start occurring, and everybody's going to say, holy crap, look what that thing did to us. Yes, it's going to change the way a lot of people do business. It's going to change the need for office space. It's going to change the need for manufacturing. We're going to think differently. I don't know how social is going to work, and I don't mean social media. I mean restaurants, bars. I mean conventions. I mean sports. I mean, honestly, life without sports has been really hell for me. I'm so used to it. I mean, our golf courses open down there, Mike?
They are. Yeah.
See, you suck. So, I mean,
that's a reason why to move to Atlanta, Georgia area right now, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, Mike, Keith Wright. He's in Oregon. He's been playing golf too. So, there's a lot going on. I mean, you've been lucky. The golf courses are open. Up here, it's caution tape and barricades every time you go near a public golf course or a park, even. You have to walk through a cornered park on in an urban area. Right. So, I mean, this is what I believe the economy is going to do, but I can't hold my hat on anything. What I'm doing is I'm grasping at what the facts are, and I'm dealing with the facts moving forward. And there's one thing I'm going to say that I truly believe in the bottom of my heart. I'm very lucky. I've worked with coaches that you work with, and I've worked with other coaches. And a message I got recently was, you know what? What we've been doing is working. What we've done is still going to work. So don't worry about all the newfangled crap that's coming out. Keep doing your job and doing your business the way you did it before. Of course, don't be an idiot, but, go out there. What do you think about that, Mike?
I hope you're right economically. I think, the old saying is all politics and all real estate is local. And I passionately believe that. I don't think there's any such thing as a national real estate market. No. So I think coming out of this, each region of the country is going to be different, and their experience is going to be different. We are very fortunate down here in the South. We haven't been impacted as nearly as much as the Northeast has. And so it's really hard for us to understand the level of concern and caution that people in New York and New Jersey might be feeling, because it just doesn't exist to that level down here, that intensity. But I will say this, every smart person that I hear speak about projections echoes what you say, Dave. I haven't heard anybody that I thought was credible and educated on this predict anything other than a strong surge, a V-shaped recovery to this coming out of it. The only people that seem to be negative about this are the media. And I guess that's because that sells commercials and, that's a marketing campaign. But, everybody that I interact with and listen to seems to be very optimistic that this isn't 2008. This isn't a real estate caused event, that the fundamentals to our economy remain very strong, that the cost to borrow remains amazingly, and that jobs are going to come back. Yeah. And not a political statement at all. I mean, vote for whoever you want to vote for. But I like the way that our government has responded to this issue in trying to keep people employed. And it hasn't worked in every case. Right. But they have created resources. I know we haven't made any adjustments in staffing here at my company, and we're not going to. Right. And the other thing that I've really learned through the last 8 weeks is you really find out who your business partners are and who they're not. Yeah. And I have been really amazed at some of the people, like I've got about 15,000 square feet here. My landlord calls me, says, Mike, look, I know you guys are being impacted. I know sales have to be down. So here's what I want to do. And they offer us 50% off our rent for 90 days. Wow. With this statement, hey, at the end of the 90 days, let's reassess and see if you need more time. And if you get in a bind in the next 90 days, call me. Wow. And almost, not all, but almost all of our business partners have responded that way. And I think consumers across the country are finding out who they can count on right now. Banking relationships, who's your partner and who's just there to make money off of you in good times.
Right.
So if there's a remaking of the economy, I think it could be from that perspective. And so we've tried to take that perspective with the agents that work here at my company. Is we want to be a great partner with you. We want to support you. We want to lead you through this every way we can. Just what else can we do? That's the statement at the end of every thought. And what else could we do?
Right.
Because this is the opportunity in crisis to show who you are.
Well, Mike, one thing that I use all of the time in my coaching in my life is one of the things you teach and coach is 2 simple words: be nice. And that's not going to change with you or me or Mark or any of us. I mean, I want to help people, and Mark's line is do good for others, and that's what we're going to do, man. That's what we're going to do.
Right. It's right now is where you see who you work with matters, who you partner with matters, who you build your business with matters, because you're going to see who comes out and helps and is a giving person to help you versus who's taking from you in a time of need. So,
Mark, that's just the most true thing anybody could hear today.
Yep.
And one of the messages that we're just talking about every day is never before has your lending partner been more important to you as an agent. Never before has your closing partner been so important to you. And never before have you become more important to your customer. Right now is when the great agent surfaces, not in the good times. The rising tide lifts all boats, right? Everybody's heard that.
Yep.
If you couldn't sell homes last year, you can't sell homes. Go get a job. If you couldn't sell homes in 2019, you weren't created to do this for a living.
Right.
Now's when everything gets sorted out. And the great businesses and the great lenders and the great attorneys and the great agents, they'll rise. And the others, I wouldn't want to be Wells Fargo going forward. So they've, some of these big banks have really shown to their customers who they are.
They really are.
Yeah. And I think the natural reaction to that is they probably won't be your customers after this. And the same thing for us, right?
Yeah, I think you also have to look at one other thing is that there are business partners that you have that are also having difficulty. And sometimes, I got to do a little bit for them. The difficulty that they may be having is not something that we see. And they could be acting out of panic, and they could be acting out of pure pessimism, right?
Sure.
You can't base your life and your business on optimism because you will get destroyed.
Right.
You need to base it on the facts of today and what's going forward with you.
So look at how different businesses react to events like this. So using banking as an example, I bank with a local medium-sized bank. When these different programs were coming out, let's take the PPP, they call me and they say, hey, Mike, look, here's how the PPP is going to work for you. And here's a link. Now, the link's not active yet because the program doesn't go live until Friday, but we want you to go to the link and complete all your information so that Friday morning at 6 a.m., you just click submit. You'll be first in line.
Right.
I go, wow, that's awesome.
Right.
And then all my golf buddies that own businesses, they're like, our bank won't even return my call. They're telling me that they're not going to help us. They're telling me that they're only working with the bigger businesses.
Yeah. Right. And then there's the banks that said, I had my bank call me before this even started going down, and they said, do this, this, and this. And now it's like crickets. I don't hear anything. They told me what to do. Now it's crickets. So, there's, and you know what? I was surprised they called me to begin with, but banks are not being consistent with what's going on, but you're very fortunate there. And I think, I think it's possibly the exception to the rule.
Right.
Well, I think it's a chance for my bank to generate loyalty for me. You know what? Like I told them yesterday, I'll never leave you guys. You've been so awesome.
Right.
And you could hear it in their voice. Yeah, we know. I think it's a chance for my real estate brokerage to do the same thing. Who are we? Are we supporting our agents? Are we guiding them through this time? Or unfortunately, what I see in the marketplace is It's more about what the banks are giving their customers. Well, good luck. Hope you work that out. Hope to see you on the other side of this. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And right, like, and they call that, and they want to call that great leadership, right?
It's not.
No, it's a chance, and that's why I believe that great agents thrive in all markets. Great real estate companies will thrive in all markets. Great banks will thrive because some of them will pivot and adjust, and they'll share values with their customers, and they'll develop deeper bonds and greater loyalties. And other people will just binge watch Netflix right now.
Hey, Mike, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I know you're busy, you got a lot of stuff going on. Just the one question I like to ask a lot of people and everybody that comes on is, how can I help you? How can Mark and I help you in your business in growth from here on in?
Well, if you have anybody that you know that wants to move to or from Atlanta, Georgia, we're your people. Just reach out to us and we'll be glad to help. And we'd like to do the same thing for you. It's been a lot of fun being on with you guys. And I'd love to hear what's going on in different parts of the country and how people are responding to it. Yeah, because I want to steal your good ideas.
Great. Well, hey,
you don't need to steal the mic. We're happy to share them.
We'll give you anything you want. We're not like, you know that.
That's a deal.
Just hang in 1 sec. Mark, tomorrow, we've got
special guest tomorrow, Dave. Who's our special guest tomorrow?
Our special guest tomorrow is Dr. Jim Fanale. Yes, that's right, Fanale. He is my brother. He is also the president and CEO of Care New England in Rhode Island. He runs and operates 3 major hospitals in the Rhode Island area, in Rhode Island, state of Rhode Island. And he's going to give his perspective on what's going on with that part of the world, which we really haven't heard much about. And I didn't think Jim would come on, but he's going to come on and talk with us tomorrow morning. Hopefully he's able to still join us. His situation is always fluid, as you can tell, running hospitals. So Jim's going to be on tomorrow.
Right. So
there's 2 of you.
No, there's actually more than that, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mike, for coming on today. Have a great day, great week. Dave, enjoy your day. We'll talk later.
Thank you, Mark. We'll see you in a while.
Everyone be successful today. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay on, man.